All right. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Health Starts at Home podcast. I am your host, Holly Jean Mullen, and today I want to talk about something that doesn't make the checklist when you're planning a move, but it should. And that is talking about the mental shift that comes with relocating. Not the logistics, not what to pack, not how to switch insurance or find a new practitioner. I want to talk about what happens in your head and your heart after the move. Because no matter how perfect your new city looks, there's going to become a day when that honeymoon phase is over and you might start to wonder or ask yourself, did we make a mistake? And this is a topic that has been coming up for me and some conversations I've been having locally with other friends and family people, family members of friends, uh, since we're now coming up on 4 and 5 year mark after relocating to Oklahoma. And so these are just conversations and thoughts and feelings that we've been sharing. And I was like, you know what? This should be a conversation that we have on the show. So that is what I want to talk about today. When house hunting, it is easy to romanticize. That's part of the fun of the process. You find the town that you like, you find the things that are important to you, whether it's the farmer's market or the homeschool co-op, the health food store, and you're thinking, yes, this is it. This is the life I was made for. This is the place I want to live. And then sometime later, reality might start to hit or sink in, and you start noticing the bugs or the heat or the cultural differences, the lack of decent tacos or Mexican food without queso. And that gap between the dream and reality, that gap between the dream and reality, that becomes a trap. Our brains are wired to idealize change when we are restless. But unless you learn how to sit with discomfort, you're going to keep chasing greener pastures and maybe miss all the life that's happening right where you are. Every state, every city, every place that you are going to live, that you've ever lived and will live, are going to have pros and cons. Moving, changing your scenery, changing your zip code, that's not going to save you from discontent. You will bring your nervous system and your baggage along with you wherever you go if you are unhappy on the inside, if you are discontent with the circumstances or other things going on in your life. So when it comes to making a move, especially one across country, one big thing that I've noticed that separates or differentiates really those who are satisfied and happy and content with their move compared to others that are unhappy, a lot of it is mindset. That's really what it comes down to. Because circumstances are always going to be there. And no matter where you live, there's going to be things you aren't happy with. But once you move, you have a choice. You can either work to love it, or you can spend your energy collecting evidence that your new place sucks. Your brain is going to look for what you tell it to. This is what's called confirmation bias. And if you decide that your new place is boring, humid, or they're not your people, your brain is going to find proof and evidence to support that. But if you decide that you are going to look for what's amazing and beautiful and different in a good way, you'll find that too. Loving where you live is less about the location you choose And it's more about your willingness to step outside of your comfort zone, embrace something new, connect with people, contribute to your new community, and really just kind of stay curious about your new surroundings and be willing to embrace the things that are different rather than criticize them. Now, I'm not saying you should gaslight yourself, but I am saying to really have a honest conversation with yourself and ask some deeper questions. What are you really looking for in your move? What were your expectations with this move? And if you haven't moved yet, think about this. If you are thinking about moving, what are you really looking for? Is it freedom? Is it safety, community, a slower pace? You want more nature, cleaner air, or maybe it's not so much a something that you're looking for, but maybe it's a feeling. Maybe you're looking for a place where you feel like you belong, or a place where you feel safe, or a place where you just feel like life is simpler. Sometimes moving just involves getting in alignment with what your priorities are and what your needs are. Sometimes it's obedience. Sometimes it's answering a call, right? But on the flip side of all this, sometimes moving is just running away from problems that we don't want to face. And whether that problem is a situation, or if it's grief or discontent, or if there's just a deeper ache that you have somewhere in your soul that is telling you don't feel like home where you are, maybe you don't feel at home with yourself. And so these are things to think about and address before moving across country, because a zip code is not going to fix an inner void. If you have something, an emptiness inside of you, a move isn't going to fix that. Nothing's going to fix that except you addressing why you have that feeling, why you have that void. Perfect weather isn't going to heal unprocessed loss. Moving, all it does is strip away the buffers that distract you from yourself. So when you move, you're left with yourself, and you have to sit in that discomfort. You have to address those things once the familiarity of life as you know it is changed. So you can ask yourself, am I looking for peace with this move? Am I looking for finding peace, or am I looking to avoid the pain I'm feeling in my current place? Am I building a new life, or am I running from an old one? These are fair questions. With a move, moving really tests your identity. Because when you're home, when you're in the place you've always known, when you're somewhere maybe you've lived your whole life or a big majority of your life, you have roles and you have reflections and you have an identity built into where you live. You are so-and-so's mom. You're the CrossFit girl. You're the neighbor that bakes sourdough bread. You have all these little identity characteristics. But when you move, you're just a new person. That can feel vulnerable. But it's also an invitation to really decide, who do I want to become here? What's worth rebuilding? Starting over can be very attractive. So I understand that. It's just where is that starting over coming from? And what do you want to be known for or become? Or what do you want to do with this empty blank canvas of who you are when you move? If you're wanting community, you don't necessarily find it. Sometimes that's something you have to build, and it takes time. It takes consistency. It takes showing up even when you feel invisible, because there are times where you might feel invisible when you're in a new place where people don't know you, especially if you're not getting out there and putting in an effort. one of the things I had to talk to with a friend recently, I mean, it wasn't like we had to talk, but it's what came up, and we had to ask ourselves a question. Are you giving as much into your new place as you were wishing or hoping to get back in return? So if you're sighing and scrolling Zillow, making side comments, your family in your home, they feel that, especially our kids. Our kids are like little tuning forks, and they tune into our frequency. So sometimes maybe it's not the new house or the new town that's the problem. Sometimes it's the lens that we are looking at it through, and that lens that we are handing to our household that's filtering the way our home, the people in our home, are processing our new place too. So if you're saying, oh, well, my family doesn't like it here, the kids aren't adjusting, how are you filtering the frequency of your energy to your home and your family? Are you complaining about everything here in your new place? Are you vocalizing how much you miss your old house or your old neighborhood or your old friends? Like, what is the energy you're putting into that, into your home? And take inventory if you're practicing gratitude or if you're practicing grumbling, and which one are you doing more frequently? Are you actually participating in the new life that you moved into, or are you waiting for it to prove itself to you? Creating a new home, establishing a new home and a new community is not instant. It is a process, and you have to be a participant in that process. I've seen people move and just kind of hang out in their new home and wonder why their neighbors aren't liking them. Why aren't they being accepted into the neighborhood? Why aren't the other moms at school inviting them in? What is the energy that you're putting out? What effort are you putting out? Think about it. When roles are reversed, if you were still in your old place and a new person came in, moved in, how much effort are you putting into meeting that new person? Usually not too much. You might say hello, hey neighbor, exchange pleasantries, but to make a new friend, to build a new community, it's going to take more than just waving hello. You have to insert yourself into the new areas of your new life that you want to be involved in. You might get a unicorn, you might get lucky and have someone really embrace you and invite you in. But that doesn't happen very often. At the end of the day, the place that we live is just a container. Like, in its basic essence, it is just a container. But it is a container that can hold the life that you build. It's not going to be the source of your peace or your joy necessarily. I have wrestled with this a lot lately, especially after my most recent trip to California over the summer. I do miss it. Like, that was, all I'd ever known, born and raised. And I love so much about our new life here in Oklahoma. I love Tulsa. I love the people of Tulsa. I love our home. I love the community that we have built here. I love our new friends. Like, I really think we have done a good job of building something special here, something new and something special, but it is still different than what I'm used to, what I've always known. When I was back over the summer, like, California still feels like home to me. Like when I go there and I'm visiting friends and family, it still feels like home. I don't go there and think, oh, everything's different. It's all changed so much. It's still so much the same to me. Yeah, I mean, stores change, like new restaurants come and go. They do freeway construction, but the way I feel when I'm there hasn't changed. It still feels like home to me. I remember after my dad retired and moved to Montana and they moved out of California, and every time he came back, he hated it and he would complain about the traffic and the people. And he said going back home to Montana, like that is where he felt peace and joy. I don't have that when I go to California, but I also don't have discontent here in Tulsa. But there are things that I long for from my old life. I miss the beach more than I ever imagined I would. I knew I would miss it. Like when you live your whole life being a stone's throw from the ocean and seeing the ocean all the time, I don't think I anticipated missing it as much as I do. I told myself, oh, well, Oklahoma has lots of lakes. I'm right by the river. We have a pond. Like there's so much water here. Water is water. It's not. It's really not. There's just something special about the ocean, and it's what like grounds me and like makes my heart happy. I miss my friends there. Like these are friends I've had forever. It is nice that there's so much to do, but there's so much here to do in Tulsa too. And we can be on the lake and we can go rent a boat, and that feels amazing. I'm just saying that I understand the feelings of being conflicted when you move, and I understand the people that have shared with me how much they miss their place that they've moved from. And it wasn't just California. There's people who've moved from all over to here. And there are a lot of things people miss. And I think also what can make it harder is moving because you kind of feel like you were forced out of the state. Like when you moved for maybe political reasons or personal medical freedom reasons, I can see how it would be a little bit harder to embrace a new place, even if that new place offers all the things that you were hoping for and all the things that you moved for. It is hard to get over that feeling of feeling like you were maybe forced out of your home, or that you didn't really want to leave, but you felt like you had to. So I understand that. But ultimately, you're still having to choose to participate in a new life because you did make the choice to move. And I am seeing people moving back and moving back to where they moved from. And that's okay too. But my message that I want to get to people that, one, haven't moved. If you were thinking about relocating and moving out of your state, think about really deeply what your reasons are for moving. Is it running away from something? Is it hoping to find something new? And are you going to be dependent on this hope of something new filling a void that you currently have? Or if you have already moved and you are starting to feel regret or remorse and wondering if you made the right decision, ask yourself if it's remorse for moving. Do you truly regret moving? Or are you just missing what you had in your own life? Are you putting in effort, consistently and honest effort, to recreate maybe what you had in your old place? And that might take some time, but the last thing you want is double regret. You don't want to move from your home, move to a new place, have remorse, move back, and all the same reasons you left in the first place are still there and still bothering you and still affecting your daily life. So these are just some things to think about. I think whether you're grieving your old life, adjusting to your new one, or still just deciding where you want to land, just remembering that home isn't found, it is built. And the most secure homes are built on foundations that don't shift with circumstance. So evaluate your circumstance, evaluate your priorities, evaluate your reasons for moving in the first place, and see if it's in alignment with where you are and what you really want, what's best for you and your family. So I hope this made sense. I just feel like this has just been something that's coming up a lot. And I just wanted to touch on it. So if you were relating to this, if this conversation kind of stirred something up in you, I would love to hear your story. Just send me a message on Instagram or leave a voice note on the podcast page. I'm truly curious. I want to hear where you are and share it with me, because I'm in it too. I feel it too, and I understand. I get it. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about real estate or relocation. It's about being rooted in something. And sometimes just saying it out loud and talking it through with someone who also has had those same feelings or wrestles with those same decisions, sometimes it's just what you need to really help get some clarity. So that is it for today. Share this with someone who you think might want to hear it or might need it. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.